It is time for the news. To present it, my name is Annie Sakala. The headlines. Chingwero residents displeased with consistent and dirty water in the area. Zambia citizens condemn campaigns supporting LGBTQ in the country. World Health Organization predict 338 million people to have hearing problems by 2050. Gulf View Mission District inducts 272 Dorcas and AMO members. These stories plus more coming up shortly.
My wife, bumper harvest. Eh?
Daddy,
I'm telling you.
your new fertilizer. Niamini. Daddy,
Tell
hello. My instructions.
I went to ETG, and now we are enjoying the benefits of using a blended D-compound fertilizer as basil and Kynoplast as top-dressing fertilizer instead of urea that we used last year. Now look here. This year, it has given me 4 tons. 4 tons! But last year, it was only 1.8 tons. Kynoplast has given all my crops the nitrogen that I paid for. Wow. It has saved me money. Telling you.
Understanding the difference between soil and crop-specific fertilizers, therein lies strength for Kynoplast blended fertilizers. More value in a bag. Available in the ETG depots countrywide, with a network providing agronomy services to farmers across the country. Kynoplast. Enhanced efficiency through innovation. A product of ETG.
Thank you for staying with us, and now the headlines. The Ministry of Agriculture in Southern Province has scaled up promotion of mechanization equipment and implements among farmers to increase crop production. Southern Province Senior Farm Power and Mechanization Officer Brighton Mianzi says the ministry is seriously considering the National Agricultural Mechanization Strategy, promoting use of agriculture machinery, implements and equipment in the province. Mr. Mianzi was speaking when he visited Kalembo Farm in Sibanyati State Land Agriculture Block in Choma with other senior provincial agricultural officers to check on farm mechanization activities. He noted that agricultural mechanization is emphasizing on the use of agricultural equipment, implements and machinery in the bid to increase crop production. And Sibanyati Camp Agriculture Officer Funda Sakahumba says farmers using mechanization by utilizing agricultural implements and equipment are cultivating large portions of their field crops. Mr. Sakahumba expressed gratitude to Kalemba Farm in his camp that is making use of agricultural mechanization through various agricultural implements and equipment to increase crop production. Meanwhile, Charles Mapulanga of Kalembo Farm noted that the farm has grown 26 hectares of groundnuts using mechanized equipment such as tractors and other implements. Mr. Mapulanga added that the groundnuts will be sold to Vanstein Cooperative that will add value to the crop by producing cooking oil and peanut butter, among others, to increase income.
The Ministry of Agriculture in Southern Province has intensified the promotion of mechanized equipment among farmers to increase crop production. Southern Province Farm Power and Mechanization Officer Brighton Mianze says the ministry is seriously considering National Agricultural Mechanization Strategy, promoting use of agricultural machinery, implements and equipment in the province.
As the Minister of Agriculture, currently, we are looking at the mechanization. We are trying to see how we can actually mechanize agriculture to bring in machinery to do this mechanization. We are looking at the National Agricultural Mechanization Strategy that is being discussed now.
And Sibanyati Camp Agriculture Officer Funda Sakahumba says farmers using mechanization by utilizing agricultural implements and equipment are cultivating large portions of field crops.
The hectarage for this portion where we are standing now is about 10 hectares, and when you look at even the market value of this is slightly higher because our groundnuts cannot be compared to maize selling price.
Meanwhile, Charles Maplanga of Kalembo Farm in Choma noted that the farm has grown 26 hectares of groundnuts using mechanized equipment such as a tractor.
Zirahambana kujita jintu dhani kuberesha manza na ngombe na usana poido tulima ngombe ndizangu 1 hectare poido tulima ngombe 1 hectare ila to take you some days mazuwa votu but utwaberesha yeji ma minutes byo amani.
Reporting Lawrence Kabutu in Choma.
Residents of Lusaka's Chingore in Matera constituency raised concerns over the inconsistency of water in the area. The residents say water is usually inaccessible for days, and when they have it, it's usually dirty and not available for long. They have since expressed their displeasure for having to depend on sachet water, as it is cheaper and are guaranteed that it will be clean. The residents added that the newly constructed manholes in the area have contributed to residents having no access to clean water for the past 2 months. More in the following report. Hope News recently reported on the dirty water in some parts of Lusaka's Matera constituency. Recently, the residents have complained further on the water challenges in the area. Today, the Hope News crew visited Lusaka's Chingore compound in Matera constituency. Residents say on top of the water being dirty, they barely have it of late. Mrs. Bernadette Kacholola says they haven't had running water for the past 3 days straight, which is causing a health hazard as water is a basic need.
Tetavutika na manzi achoka ya ready. Pamina achoka ya ready manzi, ojita nanga kapena achoka ku pansi, nanga ni ya mvula. Koma achoka ku mapompi. Tikana na diarrhea ntawiri yonse. Tikana na diarrhea ntawiri yonse masikuwana. Boma tifuna titi tandizeko. Ikeko nzeru kumanzi haya tizasira kufa. Diarrhea sisira manyumba. Tiyanganeni tabantu. Ise yose muno matero tivutika na manzi. So hapa nankala 3 days manzi siyabwera. Yabwera lero yabwera nanga kapena ni mitundu. Koma ni manzi.
Inshallah, maybe for 3 days like what happened the last 3 days. We didn't have water. If we have water, inshallah, it's a coffee, brown, whereby you can't even wash. Kutumwa using a female toilet, especially if we have a flushing toilet, munga and the. So after it was on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, takwali actually my Sunday in the evening foot the roll cello ya.
The residents add that the manholes in the area that were recently installed have contributed in making the water dirty and recording more cases of diarrhea as there has been low access to clean water.
Problem of water. Water is coming with too much dirty. We don't know what is happening with water and sewerage. And this new installation of sewer lines by the Chinese, we are surprised why water is gushing out from these sewer lines, and people are drawing water from these very sewer lines. If you go that side at Mchinga Police, at that cross junction, you find that water is still coming out. Lusaka water pipeline has busted, but it is coming out from this new installation of sewer lines.
The manzi ambiku choka ya klini hivi vintu babisize musanga ndeni wakavikumba wakazizwa kuvifuikira musanga siwa bifuikira wazabisi asoshabe open ndeni manje kunkala ma cases yo choka mendo bagwera mo muzi wa mchalo bantu naonongeka na mamoba pezi kakolewa aenda kunyumba pezi kadumbiramo bade ni jankala kama parents because of so he said, keep him pako, but he can't see the fast. There are my points. Yes. 2 days it nali be manzi, yanabwela mailo kuma 17 hours. Yenzo chika greenish manzi. Kono wherever wanda toilet wa flushing, yalangiza na kulangiza tia greenish.
The residents asked Lusaka City Council to intervene in the matter. Annie Sakala reporting for Hope News in Lusaka. The National Museum Board NMB today toured the Lusaka Museum at the government complex to appreciate the state and events as well as access ways of mitigating the challenges the institution is facing. The NMB chairperson, Mr. Alexander Muntali, says his board is on course of engaging government through the Treasury and Ministry of Infrastructure in Zambia in order to preserve museums in Zambia. Meanwhile, Mr. George S. Mudenda, who is Acting Director General of the National Museums Board and one of the directors at the Lusaka Museum, has welcomed the move by the board to have a hands-on experience of the challenges faced by the institution and the work personnel so that they may be well informed and make decisions that will bring change. Elesani Piri gives us more in the following report.
Museums are home to both artifacts and stories of the past that keep alive the knowledge of our forefathers, hence the need to preserve them. It is for this reason that the National Museum Board Chairman today toured the Lusaka Museum in order to find ways of sustaining the institution to foster preservation and exposure of both historical and cultural knowledge. Mr. Alexander Mutali, who is chairman of the National Museum Board, is rather concerned with the poor state of infrastructure at the Lusaka Museum. He says reports of leakages in the ceiling needs immediate attention, and his board, in collaboration with other stakeholders, will ensure to find a lasting solution.
Yes, what we are going to do is we are trying to engage our cooperating partners as well as government. We are going to actually engage government so that we have to preserve. Our job is to preserve things, but not to destroy things. So we'll try to engage the Treasury so that they understand, and the Minister of Infrastructure, so that they understand what is going on around. Actually, we're having this problem in most of the museums. So we are trying to engage our cooperating partners as well as government, so that at least we can have these things repaired.
And speaking at the same event, Acting Director at the National Museum Board and one of the directors at the Lusaka Museum said the board's move of coming to have a hands-on experience will allow them to appreciate the challenges the institution is facing.
They are our policymakers to give us direction, and as a follow-up to that, we needed to take them now to have on the ground kind of experience, hands-on kind of experience, just like you saw when we were going around. In some cases they were being taught. We have a challenge of leakages. We have a challenge of how to accommodate the differently abled people, because we don't have a lift, we don't have got a ramp. So then also they are there to learn some of the challenges the professionals are facing in terms of doing their job, be it in terms of their conditions of service, in terms of transport, in terms of other things. So for us, we are very happy.
Being a new board, Mr. Muntali and his team have already toured museums in Livingstone, Choma and Lusaka, and are yet to visit Copperbelt and Mbala. One can only hope for positive outcomes once the board is fully settled for economic and cultural benefits. Reporting for Hope News, Piri Elesani.
A number of Zambian citizens have taken to social media acts of displeasure and have condemned campaigns that are supporting the lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender community, commonly referred to as LGBTQ community. This was after Sister Mugenda Foundation, a non-governmental organization that supports the rights of women and children, started campaigning for the rights of LGBTQ community during a march past along Grace East Road on Saturday, 4th March 2023. A Lusaka clergy said homosexuality is an abomination and must not be allowed in Zambia, not only because Zambia is a Christian nation, but because it is also against the country's cultural values and traditions. He has since called on government to address this issue before it goes out of hand. And police, in a statement released yesterday, said the Sister Foundation applied for a permit to hold a march past within Lusaka district to raise awareness against women and girls' sexual and gender-based violence. It has, however, come to the attention of the Zambia Police Service that during the said march past, conveners exhibited a different agenda from the one whose permit they sought. The agenda seemed to have highlighted issues of LGBTQ, or rather homosexuality. According to the laws of Zambia, practicing homosexuality is a crime punishable by law. More in the following report.
Contrary to sections 155 and 157 of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the Laws of Zambia, which states same-sex conduct between consenting adults is a criminal offense, the Sister Foundation, a non-governmental organization, on Saturday 4th March organized a march past in which they were promoting homosexual rights. However, this move has not been welcomed by the majority of the Zambians, citing that Zambia is a Christian nation and homosexuality goes against biblical morals and traditional standards.
It's very pathetic. As a believer in Christ Jesus, I know very well that this thing is diabolical. It's not of God. The Bible is very clear. When you read in the Bible in Leviticus chapter 18 verse 22, it will tell you exactly that man should not go and sleep with a fellow man. No, maybe going to sleep with an animal. It's an abomination. It's diabolical. It's unacceptable. And what I'm foreseeing is that we are yet to see more of this. We need to get ready as a church to stand and pray against this spirit. This is a spirit of perversion. This is the spirit, the exact spirit that rose in that time of Sodom and Gomorrah. That we are a Christian nation and we need to act like one. Yeah, so I would urge the government of today to take keen interest in this issue that has risen, because this issue is deadly.
However, police in a statement released yesterday said the Sister Foundation was granted a march past permission to cover gender-based violence issues and not promote homosexuality. Police in a statement also said the complainants have been summoned in order to ascertain why the event was turned into a forum for championing homosexuality. However, efforts to get a comment from Deputy Police Spokesperson Danny Mwale to ascertain steps taken by the police proved futile both physically and on a phone after many attempts. Mwene Muyanga, Hope News, Lusaka.
Thank you, Mwene, for that report. We now go on a short break. Stay tuned for more.
Publishing house. We have moved to a new location. We wish to inform our esteemed customers that we have moved to a new location. Our new address is plot number 9221, corner of Independence Avenue and Bama Roads, on Lusaka Conference premises. This move is part of our ongoing effort to better serve our customers and provide a more convenient shopping experience. Please note that our phone numbers, email addresses and websites will remain the same. Our office hours will also remain the same. We are grateful for your continued business and look forward to welcoming you to our new location. If you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact us on 0973 714242 or 0978 447469.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The World Health Organization has indicated that 338 million people are likely to have a hearing problem by 2050. This was confirmed by the Region Director for Africa, Matshidiso Moeti, at the Awareness of Deafness and Hearing Loss and Prevention Care. And Health Minister Sylvia Masebo said it is through hearing that families, communities and the country remain connected to each other. Hence, it is important that all adhere to the preventive measures. More in the following report.
The World Health Organization on 3rd March had an opportunity to raise awareness in deaf and hearing loss prevention care worldwide. This year's program was celebrated under the theme Ear and hearing care for all. Let's make it reality. Minister of Health Sylvia Masebo said hearing is one of the most important things.
The new government sees it as a worthwhile platform to amplify the need for improved hearing services. Therefore, we gladly subscribe to the theme, ear and hearing care for all. Let's make it a reality. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, hearing is one of our most important senses because it enables us to communicate effectively with each other. Through hearing, we remain connected to one another. It is in fact the foundation for all spoken language, which in turn is the cornerstone for cognitive development and learning. It is therefore essential to protect and preserve our hearing. As a responsive and proactive government, the Ministry of Health has put in place a number of measures in a quest to address the status quo.
Speaking at the event, WHO Region Director for Africa Mashidiso Moeti disclosed that 135 million people have hearing problems.
Globally, over 1.5 billion people live with ear problems and hearing loss, and of these, nearly 80% are living in low and middle income countries. In Africa, an estimated 135 million people have ear and hearing problems. Numbers are rising, and it is likely that by 2050, over 338 million people will be affected by ear and hearing issues in Africa. The burden of ear and hearing problems is mainly attributed to the fact that many people with hearing loss or ear problems do not know how and where to find help or do not have access to the needed services.
And Alfred Mwamba, Executive Director, State Hearing Institute, had this to say. Hearing is essential for maintaining relationships and connections with friends and family.
There's a huge shortage of hearing healthcare professionals. Over 25,000 are required for sub-Saharan Africa. Zambia is leading. It may seem that we haven't been making strides, but we have over 35 hearing instrument specialists that have been trained, serving all across the country, and this puts us in a position to be able to implement some of the things that you alluded to, Honorable Minister, such as newborn hearing screening. Hearing loss is painless, it's invisible, and this is the reason why it's very difficult to articulate the ear and hearing care problems that many people face.
Nebo Chitimbiti, reporting for Hope News in Lusaka.
Gulfview Mission District at least managed to induct 272 Dorcas and AMO members. Woodlands Conference Dorcas President Ruth Muyeka encouraged the members to put the whole armor of God to hasten the coming of Christ. One of the youngest Dorcas workers, Memory Shonga, has challenged other young ladies to accept the challenge of serving for the community. Mebo Chitimbiti gives us more in the following report.
Clad in blue and white are the Dorcas and AMO workers of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Gulfview Mission District, and Conference Dorcas President Ruth Muyeka, speaking at the event, has a word for the new and young Dorcas women that have joined the team.
They should take up the armor of Jesus. They should not relent because there is a lot of work to be done out there in the community. They are there to help the needy, the poor, the orphans, the underprivileged, and of course to evangelize. I'm very excited as a federal conference leader for the number of Dorcas workers who have been inducted today, about 234, and those who have been belted, 16, and those who have joined Dorcas, 13. It's a very great achievement to Woodlands Conference.
Giving the charge to both Dorcas and AMO, Conference President for the Adventist Men's Organization AMO tasked the two departments to live by the principles of the society.
I, covenant, to serve as a community service worker, and desire to be registered in the Adventist main organization. I now pledge to be an active and faithful AMO member, guidelines and rules.
Memory Shonga, the youngest added Dorcas Waker, now shares what inspired her to join the society.
Inspired to join Dorcas because I love what the Dorcas Wakers do. They visit hospitals, they visit the sick, they provide for the needy, they also comfort those who lost their loved ones. That work I love it, and that's why I've joined Dorcas, because I want to be part of that team.
And district leaders are amazed by this development.
We are happy as Governor Mission District in the sense that we have inducted 272, out of which 37 were AMO and 235 were Dorcas workers. This was an interesting program in the sense that both the men and the women, they are charged. The message that has been laid to them is that they need to now go and minister in the community. That is basically the mandate of AMO and Dorcas. What is critical now is to ensure that the fire keeps on burning. So as a district, we have lined up a lot of activities that will ensure that these men and women are kept busy so that the message goes out there in the community.
37 Adventist men who were inducted, and the 3 gave themselves, and these 3, we know, as I said in Luke chapter 10 verse 41-42, the choice they have made, but our duty is now to help each other, to take care of each and every soul. How will we do it? We'll engage them in all the activities that we are going to be doing at church, home visitation, and to try to preach the word of God, and even helping the need together with them, as we will also be helping them if they will be in need, spiritually and physically.
And we've also managed to build 14 Dorcas workers, so this is a plus to our district. And during the main service, when the preacher was preaching, we had our mothers who gave themselves to be or to join Dorcas, and we have registered 16 members in our district. That's a happy
being inducted as a Dorcas Waker. To be inducted.
The event took place at Mass Media Seventh-day Adventist Church. Meboch Timbiti reporting for Hope News in Lusaka.
Seventh-day Adventist primary and secondary teachers from Sitoli Mission held a big Sabbath at the Nangweshi Secondary Boarding School. Speaking during an interview, West Zambia Conference Personal Ministries and Education Director Mwamuke Kabani said that teachers can be the right channel to help spread the gospel. He also said that the church is conducting a certification convention in Lusaka from the 4th to the 10th of April to share the Adventist philosophy on education with teachers from public and private schools. More in the following report.
Sitoti Mission, in conjunction with the West Zambia Conference, held a big Sabbath in Sioma District at the Nangweshi Boarding Secondary School. The event was spearheaded by the West Zambia Conference Personal Ministries and Education Director Pastor Mwamuke Kabani, who said that the church is trying to utilize the teachers as a channel to spread the gospel.
The Adventist Church in the West Zambia Conference is trying to organize teachers and create to them an awareness of what they ought to be, what they ought to become as channels of spreading the gospel to the learners, but also as a support system to the Adventist Church.
Pastor Kawani also added that the church is conducting a teacher certification convention in Lusaka from the 6th to 10th April with the aim to share the Adventist philosophies with teachers from both the public and private schools.
The forthcoming Teacher Foundation is a moment of fellowship, but also it is organized with an intention to share these same Adventist views with the teachers who are teaching from public schools and private schools.
The teachers present during the Big Sabbath were grateful for this event.
Actually, I'm overwhelmed by this program. It's a very good one. We have learned a lot, and it has really brought us a mindset to really view ourselves as educators who should not just give knowledge to a child, but also to make sure that we dwell much even on the moral standards of our pupils.
Personally, I'm very grateful that you had such a nice program, spiritually reviving, enriching. It has really been a nice program, and we wish to thank the organizers for this program.
The Stoti Mission utilized this event to baptize at least 21 people, as well as ordain deacons and elders from around the district. Inside or outside the classroom, teachers are always public figures with influence, and if morally aligned with the Adventist principles, they can be the right medium to spread the gospel. Dopu Sendoi reporting.
On 5th March, Woodlands Conference leadership took time to dedicate Lilai Seventh-day Adventist Church. Members gathered to witness the dedication of their church newly built for the Lord and praise Him for providing a place for them to worship. Woodlands Conference President Dr. Daniel Chunga led the entourage by presenting the certificate to the administrative elders. After the pronouncement to the church, Dr. Chunga later gave a 5,000 as a token of appreciation to the church for their dedication to the Lord. And while sharing a sermon at the same gathering, Pastor Joyce Shangala encouraged the members to be dedicated to God's work. More in the following report.
After 45 years of struggling to find land, title deeds, Lilai Seventh-day Adventist Church was yesterday 5th March dedicated by the conference leadership. And conference president Dr. Daniel Chunga, after the signing process, handed over the certificate to the administrative elder. Delivering a sermon during the program, Pastor Joyce Shangala charged the members to be dedicated to God's work.
Are you dedicated? What will it profit us to dedicate this building?
God is that
and yet our hearts and our lives are not dedicated to the service of God.
Woodlands Conference Executive Secretary Johnny Namwako gave a dedicatory prayer for the church. Some of the old members are excited about this development and now recall some of the challenges they went through.
We are happy that the program has passed. It was very hectic, where we were not sleeping, just seeing to it that this program takes place. And we are happy today the program has it has passed, and now we forge ahead as it is a year of evangelism.
Bula kuno kulilai 1989 nishi lilai ilipa company level petna fika petna muma 1980s muja to 1990s tenzo pempera mu class one of the classes for the college. We have had some challenges at that time because those classes were also used for the trainees. So sometimes mzapeza kuti instead utumkane na mapempero wamefurungana ni mwachoka wamichosani, you have no place to worship. And as time went on, they shifted us from what was the class that we were using to what is called the band room, where the band section is keeping their instruments. And when we were worshiping there, we are very much inconvenienced, because sometimes you find that in the midst of the worship, they would come to collect the instruments.
about Chipapa. We have too many companies that have stayed for many years. We want them to become churches because they have the capacity, numbers of members. They must be churches. Also branches that have overstayed, they want to organize them into companies.
Nebo Chitimbiti, reporting for Hope News in Chilanga.
Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts Elvis Nkandu says he is proud of the innovations that are being actualized by youths in the country. Speaking when he officiated at the Youth Business Expo, where young Zambian innovators will exhibit for the next 2 days at Mulungushi International Conference Center under the theme, Transforming Minds for Accelerated Development. Mr. Nkandu said he is also alive to the fact that a lot of youths in the country have brilliant ideas but lack capital, a situation that he says government will enhance what the youths are doing to make resources available using avenues such as Community Development Fund. And Minister of Small and Medium Enterprise Development, Elias Muvanga, has told young innovators in the country that his ministry is currently providing financing for all innovations. Mr. Muvanga has since invited the youth to engage his office to gain understanding of what should be done to access readily available funds. Daniel Chilema gives us more in this report.
I think the media and us ministers who have towards the stance, we are able to see that there is a lot of transformation that we have really seen here. So my overall view of what we've seen is that there is a lot of innovation, there's a lot of creativity by the young people. That clearly tells you that minds are being transformed. I think you'll be able to assist this government to transform the minds of our people so that they get in line with our objective of not having people sitting at home and waiting for government to come and give them whatever they want to get from government. Let them do something. All to do as government is just to enhance on what you people are doing. There is technology, and the Minister of Technology and Science will be here at one time to come and interact with the innovators, because we still have the Innovation Fund at the Minister of Technology and Science. We have money at the Minister of Small and Medium Enterprises. I'm happy also to find that some got money from the CEEC and they are doing exactly what we were looking up to them to do.
So it's important that we take on what the young people are doing. I am extremely excited to see the finishing of some of the products, which are almost getting to the international standards, and that's what we need. So when I say access to market, the Minister of SME is providing financing of your innovations, financing of your projects that you have in here. So that's why I'm here. You are invited to the ministry. Come so that we can help you how to get your funding, how your loan could be processed as quickly as possible.
Not so long ago, my colleague minister here floated out up to 60 million budget for trades and enterprises, yet another opportunity that government through the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise Development reached out to yourselves. And I can tell you that I don't even know about the appraisal system, but I can guarantee you that whoever is appraising will be looking at the younger people, the youth. You have a higher weightage in terms of accessing those funds. So please, find time. If you are in doubt, ask. I've always learned it the hard way. If you don't know, just ask. Ask the next person. Don't be shy. If you don't know, go to the Ministry of Youth, go to the Ministry of SSA. They will give you the requisite information. And you will slowly but surely, as government become more digital, I know certain people are still working to people's offices, but you'll be able to put it on your Android device so that you can access phones and certain information that will be of use to yourself.
That brings us to the end of the main news, but before we go, a recap of the stories that made headlines. Chingwara residents displeased with inconsistent and dirty water in the area. Zambian citizens condemned campaigns supporting LGBTQ in the country. World Health Organization predicts 338 million people to have hearing problems by 2050. Gulfview Mission District inducts 272 Dorcas and AMO members. Thank you so much for staying with us. I've been Annie Sakala. Stay tuned to Hope Channel, television that changes lives.